in a very long time. Okay? Despite all the other crap, we were one of the most promising. However, and I'm giving you my own opinion now, based on what I know. I don't know this as fact. But if the Andromedan Council does what they're planning to do next year and try to remove all regressive presences, extraterrestrial presences, off the planet and the moon, if they do in fact do that, Mornay has said that they are planning to just sit up in space, we will all see them, and watch us for anywhere from 2 to 4 years in our time. And what they want to do is they want to see how we are going to react with each other when we're not being manipulated. Will we in fact come together? Okay? Now the point that I made this morning was there was a period of 300 years where there was absolutely no extraterrestrial intervention. And what happened? We dusted off the monarchies of Europe and we created the United States of America. The United States of America, ladies and gentlemen, was never supposed to happen. It was an accident. It was never supposed to happen. Okay? The royal families of Europe, who were connected to the extraterrestrial lineages, were never supposed to lose control. Never. And once America opened up Pandora's box, a lot of people followed. You know, because we had all been sick of the tyranny. You know, and we still are. Go ahead.
Well, to follow up kind of on that, anything you might be willing to say about shape-shifting, royalty, draconians, that sort of thing?
I had this conversation earlier as well with a member of our audience. Shapeshifters. Does technology exist where someone can create a holograph around themselves? Yes, the technology does exist. Is that technology presently being used on Earth? The answer to that is no. Okay, now, can a regressive entity take over a human body? The answer to that is absolutely yes. And the process is actually very simple. They abduct someone, they bring him to death very slowly, and the moment his last breath, his essence, leaves the body, they replace it with another. Several moments later, that person, that body will rise off the table. It'll be the same physical body, but inside it has a completely different agenda, because now it's a different soul. That technology does exist.
Would you call that a weapon?
Yes, I would.
Would they have the memory of the original body?
Yes, they do. But my understanding is that there's anywhere from 3 to 7 months where there is a transition period. And generally when it happens to a major figure, they will be out of the limelight or be very rarely seen. Okay, when that happens, because they're still adjusting. Now let's talk about that some more. The word is, well, or what some people have said is, well, I saw them turn into a reptilian. I actually saw the reptilian. Now, that's probably very true. Now, that doesn't mean that they're actually a reptilian and they're just, you know, using technology to look like a human being. It's a human body. But you got to remember something. Reptilians are not used to the extremes of emotions. They don't have emotions like we do. Okay, in fact, many of the human races out there don't have the extreme of emotions that we do. So what happens is that if there's a situation where the body gets excited, because it's a human body, that's what it does. It's this huge antenna. When it gets excited, the reptilian soul inside doesn't know how to act. Okay? So he probably either gets frightened or he gets alarmed. And when he does that, because they're extremely powerful souls, okay, you see a projection of themselves. You see the projection of themselves in their auric field. You will see it. okay, because they're not used to the emotions. They don't know how to handle it. And that's part of the transition period. That's what I've been told.
Well, can an original reptilian have sex with a human being?
Yeah, but no offspring will come of it. You know, if there's offspring, it's because there was a genetic manipulation.
Why would they do it then? Just
I actually don't know that it actually has been done, but it can. They do have a phallic.
The mating claw.
I'm sure that comes into play.
well, I mean, I've run into that with some people. Some
Could be. Maybe they just want to, maybe they're trying to experience, maybe they've been watching humans do it. They see the heightened emotion and passion and the rush that we get at that moment, and maybe they're trying to experience it themselves.
well, they say they are attracted to, you know, orgies and
Well, because of the emotion, right? Uh-huh.
Different races on Earth. Why? Are they different combinations of this 22 or what?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Do you know what ones are what?
I know some of them. I know some of them. But I'm not prepared to talk about that tonight. But we will do it really, really soon. I promise within probably 4 weeks it'll be up on the website. Okay? So that, you know, I'm extremely motivated to create a scorecard. Okay? So that everybody knows who everybody is. Especially if this thing is coming down. We need to know. Or at least the information needs to be available. Those who want to know will find it.
Alex, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but are the Caucasians all from one strain, or are we a mixture?
We're a mixture as well. We all are. We're all a Heinz 57 with a moderate to good temperament when we're left alone and not provoked. Dave?
When they remove the regressives, that must mean Washington can be 9 on the empty, but is there some suggestion?
I hope you don't have a problem with that.
Is there some suggestion how we can take the planet back?
It's going to be handed to us. But what we do with it after that will be entirely our responsibility. We will be handed back the planet. I know for a fact that discussions of a download of all of humanity has and is being talked about, where everybody is given exactly the same data of who we are, where we're from, who these beings were, and how we've been manipulated. They're going to basically say, okay, here's the truth. And I don't know how many people are going to be able to handle it. If that happens, they've talked about it. I know that there will be some contact of some sort after the extraction occurs. Then they're going to withdraw, and they're going to watch us. Now, if we will be totally self-responsible for this, depending upon what it is that we do with each other and with our own ecosphere, biosphere. If we're not responsible, they're not going to help us.
That was the galactic debate, wasn't it?
Yes, it's exactly the galactic debate. And that's the compromise they came to. You paid attention. I like that, David. I like that. That's exactly right. They don't honor themselves. They don't honor each other. They don't honor their home. What is their value? It's exactly what was presented.
And the defense was, we've never known ourselves.
That's right. They've been manipulated from the get-go.
What if it's a few people that take the responsibility, but not the majority?
Well, that's why I'm kind of hoping that they're going to do the download. Because everybody will know, and all of us will be starting on page 1. You know, everybody. It would be a huge help.
Did you say this would happen next year?
The date that they gave me was August 12th, 2003. Now, the reason they've given me that date and that specific day, and I didn't know about this till a couple of years ago, why that date, was, remember the Philadelphia experiment? When they sent the Eldridge through time and they ripped a hole in time? Well, they created a portal that was never supposed to be there.